I'm noticing that I don't feel as competitive as I used to. Like, I've been watching the Olympics, but I haven't got charged up. I mean, I still love my football, and it's interesting. I can even use my football, my love of football, to change my mind, basically. And what I'm finding, thank goodness I can. I'm able to watch the beauty of the game, you know, and not be as attached to winning. I like to see the goals coming, you know, in the right net as well. So I'm not claiming to have done all that, but there's definitely been a shift for me. There's definitely been a shift for me. I'm passionate because it's a love I have, you see, and that's okay. If whatever you're doing with joy, looking to do things in joy. So yeah, I do. I love my football, and I've also, obviously, with the understanding the power of the mind, thoughts, and our words are creative, which the course does teach, I believe. You know, it teaches that. I find it fascinating, and I mean, I'd love to, you know, to work. And when I hear managers, you know, criticising referees, and condemning them and damning them, you know, and then saying, hey guys, look at your life, look what keeps happening. Because whatever we think, we're correct. So that has to be given back. You think, so it will be. So if you've got a manager who's constantly complaining about referees, he's constantly going to get problem with referees. And not only that, because he's the authority figure, then that then filters through to the players as well. I mean, it's really fascinating. And I worked with some young professionals for a while, and after I'd learned about kinesiology, you know, muscle testing, and, you know, work with David Hawkins, etc., which we know at the level of form it's another illusion, but that's where we think we are. So I found it very interesting to actually experience it, you know, how my different thoughts and attitudes affected my physical body. I mean, fascinating stuff. But, you know, I saw that, and I actually worked with a group of professional footballers, and I took a big risk, and I got them to see what happened with their physical body, their physical energy. First of all, I asked them, I said, would you agree that if you had 30% more energy, you're likely to perform better? They had to agree. Would you agree that if you're performing better, you're more likely to be successful and win the game? They had to agree. So then I got somebody to come out, and I showed them using kinesiology what happened when they held the belief or the thought, I'm going to win today, I'm going to beat this team, I'm going to beat my opponent. Their energy, their arm, had no resistance. And then I said, okay, now break that thought, and now I want you to think the thought, I'm going to be the best me I can be today. I'm going to perform the best I've ever performed. And I couldn't push their arm down. So there they had proof of the difference in their energy. There is nobody else out there. It's actually you. So if you're holding that desire to beat, that again is coming from putting one down and you being one up. Okay, and it's not to say that doesn't work, but I think it has a consequence. And I think the consequence is the anger that you get in games, etc. And because I am very keen on sport, and I observe sportsmen, and a classic person who I believe has most of the time that understanding of the inner game, which is the only game to play, really, because there ain't anybody else you're playing against. You know? So by keeping it to yourself, keeping it personal, keeping it about your performance rather than beating and destroying and all those kind of energies, is Roger Federer. You know, I watch him, and I know he got well beaten there in the Olympic final, but I've watched him a lot over the years, and there always seems to be a serenity about that guy and an absence of, how can I put it, competitive energy. He is definitely competing, but he's competing with himself. That's how I see it. And that's what's powerful. And it's what, David Hawkins writes about in his book, Power versus Force. Power will always overcome force. Power is an internal condition, whereas force is an external activity. And I think that massive things could happen in football. I mean, more and more now they're opening their eyes to the concept of the mind. They're talking to sports psychologists, but you and I both know there's another level. Guilt is the root cause of every problem we have, including accidents, injuries, sickness, whatever. Of course, is not non-compromising about that fact, that if they don't undo the guilt. So I found it very interesting that certain players suddenly got injuries that kept them out of the World Cup after there was disclosures about their private life. I thought, there's a great correlation there, And that's not in any way judging them at all, because we're all doing it. We're all acting out our guilt, our unconscious guilt. So it's not a judgment whatsoever, but very interesting. And it's interesting. Also, I find it interesting because football is a massive medium of information. It reaches so many people, doesn't it? All over the world. I mean, how many people watch the World Cup? I know billions, And it's almost as though I see that there are certain elements like that, certain high-profile attractions that are starting now to just put in little spiritual messages about the mind and the power of the mind, because they reach so many people. They get people to think. Just to start getting people to open their mind and think, oh my God, there must be another way of something, And I think one of those happenings was with the injury to the footballer Fabrice Muamba, who was struck down with I don't know the medical term for it, but he basically had a heart attack. Now to me, don't get me wrong, I had compassion for him at the time, but there was a part of me that thought, oh my God, this is going out to 6 million people all over the world, and you've got a whole stadium full of people who most of the time are chanting, a lot of them chanting obscenities at each other, were united in sending what to this man who was lying prostrate on the ground? They sent love. They sent the energy of love and caring to this man prostrate on the ground. And he was essentially dead. I mean, even the medical profession were astounded at the length of the time his heart had stopped for. And I thought this was so magnificent, because this was living proof what can happen when you change your mind. And that's what I was talking about when it came to my working with footballers. I mean, instead of having that consciousness of I'm going to beat, I'm going to win, I'm going to destroy, if you know that that's you change it to I'm going to be the best me, bring it back, because there is no one else there. I mean, that's high level of metaphysics to explain to people, but it's fascinating for me to see it in action. And one thing I saw, coming back to football again, which I thought was magnificent, and I would love to convince or introduce the concept to a team over here in England, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. I went to a soccer game in Canada, and when a player got injured and the physio came on, to tend to the injured, the whole of the other team and the opposition, both teams, all went down on one knee, like that, until the person had fully recovered and was ready to play on. They got up, and I thought that was a magnificent, powerful exercise. That this is what about. This is a sport to enjoy, to express that creativity. And dare I say it, I mean, a lot of people were ridiculing the women's football, and I loved it. I loved watching it because it was refreshing. Yeah, and they've improved through good coaching over the years, but there's not that competitive level of that, wanting to destroy. And And I think that's what's probably going to happen in our own game. I find it very interesting, you see, that Spain are so successful, and Barcelona in particular, because when I look at them, I look at Barcelona as a club, they start off as a family, as a happy family. And you have Lionel Messi, I should say, you know, he waltzes through people, he does what he does, he's like a magician. He gets kicked from backside to breakfast time, but I never see him snarling. I just see him smiling. You know, I think that's fantastic, and I think there's a lot of correlation. They play with joy. You know, we have to let go of the fear in order to become successful again. Fear is the biggest crippler of anything. And I mean, I find it absolutely amazing with all the skilled people around, you know, that we have developed this belief about penalties. Not just at the England level, but we had it in Team GB as well. The same thing, you know. And you've got somebody who's running them who was a party to that, you know. And it's fascinating. It could all be changed. Change the pictures. Change the pictures in the mind.